Hello, my name is Robin Anderson. We are here today at BC Curly Hair Salon, and I'm going to demonstrate my color processing. Today, my client is starting with previous color. She first has about a level 9 highlights around the front of the face, and then towards the back, she has her natural color, which is a 5, and she has existing ombre towards the bottom. Today, what I would like to do is completely change her. We're going to first take her top half back down to her natural level, which is a 5. So we're going to cover up her existing highlights, and then towards the bottom where she has already about a level 7 or 8 highlight, we're going to then turn that to our target color, which is a 7 kg with a couple of 7K pieces as well. I'm going to leave some of those existing highlights just to give her some dimension, but then we definitely will pull up everything behind and underneath and just give her a more even ombre placement. So once we're all finished, we're going to see a level 5 at the top, blending nicely into a level 7 kg. Let's get started with our formulation. Now we're here in the dispense area, and we're going to get started with formulating. So the first thing I'm going to start with is lifting up her existing 5 level color to a natural 8 or 9 level blonde. So I'm going to use our Silk Lift using 20 volume, and we are going to do 35 mils of that. And we are going to combine that with our Silk Lift developer. We're going to use strong, and we're going to use 1 scoop of that. So this is going to be for our highlights that we're going to put towards the bottom. Now, once we lift her highlights, we're going to then take her, once she's done processing, we're going to take that to the bowl, and I'm going to use a colorant toner to go ahead and take her to that copper 7 kg color that we're targeting for. Now remember, we want to leave some dimension in there, so I am going to leave some of those highlighted pieces just to give her a couple of peekaboos and keep that color nice and fun for her. For her all over color, remember she does have some existing highlights, so we want to cover those. Since the highlights are about a level 9, we are going to use 10 volume developer since we are depositing, going darker. So I am going to use, we're going to do 1-to-1 mixing, and I want to get a nice full bowl, so I'm going to do 60 mils of our 10 volume developer. Then, since she is about a natural level 5, I am taking those highlights darker. I'm going to customize this color to a T. The first thing I want to do is add a little red, since we are contrasting against that golden that she has existing already. So we're going to add some 5B. I'm going to do 20 mils of 5B. Then, I don't want her too dark, so the 4 in will be too dark, and I do want to make sure it's covered. So the 5 in will be, but we're going to go ahead and combine both of those together. So we're going to do 20 mils of 5 in and 20 mils of 4 in. Perfect. So there you go. I always like to do one little squirt just to make sure all of our color gets fully out of the cylinder. And she's all set. Alright, so we're all ready to start our process. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with her all over color. Again, she has her existing about an 8 level blonde, and we're going to take that down to a 5. So we mixed up our formulation already. I'm going to start with an all over color. So we're just starting at the root. We're going to only take this about midway because I want her highlights in the ombre to start up pretty high. One side completed. So just bringing that to about mid-shaft up. And then from there, all of the ombre will start. Now we're going to start the ombre process. We're going to start the ombre about 5 inches down. We're going to use a teasing technique, and that is going to give her a very blended placement for the highlights that we're putting at the bottom. So we're going to elevate about 45 degrees up, and we are going to tease going down. Now remember that teasing is going to allow the highlights to be blended into the darker hair towards the top, and it's just going to give her a very natural placement. We're going to apply our foil. We're using again our silk straw, and we're going to apply into the area of which we tease. We're going to make sure we get this nice and saturated so it pulls both sides in. Give her a nice folded foil, and we're going to apply this all the way up towards the front of the hair. Now, a helpful tip with teasing is to apply the brush going vertical versus horizontal, and that's going to give you a nice diffused placement. And then once you get towards the bottom, you can go back to your horizontals. Make sure you get everything fully saturated and covered on both sides of the foil. So now I'm going to apply the 7 kg color. Now one thing I love about applying with the bottle is you can a little bit faster for application. You can get everywhere that you need to get with the toner. So I'm just going to first get this all the way in, and then we'll make sure we get everything worked in. Since we do have those already teased areas, you really got to work that in to make sure that color is nice and even.
Please stand by.
Alright, so now that we got all of the color rinsed out, we're going to get started with our blowout. The first couple of products I'm going to use is of course by Goldwell. We're going to first start with our Sleep Protection. That is going to give her a heat protection. It's also going to keep down frizz and protect against humidity. Just a couple squirts for that. Now, since my client does have a natural wave pattern, I want to get her nice and smooth and blown out so we can get started with that haircut. So what I'm going to use is our flat marble, also by Goldwell. I'm going to use 3 pumps of our flat marble, just about that. I'm going to make sure we get it warmed up nicely. I'm going to start at the bottom and then apply in throughout the hair. Working it all the way through. Then after I get it dry, we're going to finish with just a little bit of our Diamond Gloss Shine Spray. That's just going to give her a nice shine for finishing work. Alright, and there you have it, our finished work. As you can see, we got all of that top all even to a nice 5 We blended in those old highlights with some of the new 7KG low light colors, and now she just has this very nice blended ombre with a nice copper tone, a couple of highlights mixed in between, but it looks fabulous. This is my creation of an ombre. Thanks so much for watching. Hello, my name is Robin Anderson, and we're here again at VC Capelli Hair Salon, and I'm going to demonstrate my haircut. For my client, she does have a natural wave, so we got her straightened out nice and smooth so we can see all the imperfections and split ends for the perimeter. What we want to do is keep most of her length today. She has an ombre color, so what I would like to do is also add in some highlights just to kind of break up that color as well and give her some more dimension throughout the different tones. We're going to take about 1 inch off of the perimeter. Then we're going to also add in some face framing and cut in some nice sweeped bangs for the fringe area. Okay, so now we have her section off in 4 quads. We're going to take horizontal partings throughout the back and just start with a nice solid form cut. We're going to round off around the corners where the shoulders lay, and then that'll blend in nicely with her face framing. Let's get started. So we're going to start with a point cutting technique for the solid form haircut. I'm going to first take a placement out of the center. From there, we're going to do a nice point cutting throughout all the way to each side, to the right and back to the left. And this is used when you are dealing with more of a natural wave client. The reason why, again, she's nice and straightened out, and the point cutting technique is going to make everything just lay nice and diffused, which will also help her layers to lay more naturally and blended. So now we have her parted off where she naturally likes to wear her hair, and we're going to start with our face framing. So for her side swept bangs, we're going to take about 1/2 inch off, and I'm going to use a slide cutting technique to take her all the way down to clean up those split ends throughout the front and round her off to blend in with the rest of the perimeter. So now we just finished with our face framing, and now we're going to be starting with our uniform layers. So the first thing I'm going to do is start from her fringe area. We're going to use this as our mohawk. We're going to take this mohawk area and use this as our guide. So we're going to go in with point cutting technique, creating radial sectionings throughout the back. There you have it. We're all finished with the cut. I'm just going to do a little cross-checking. First, starting with over the ear, making sure each length matches up well. Taking that throughout the back. We're going to bring up those layers.